Tuesday, December 13th, a Fox News alert breaking overnight, pure panic at 30,000 feet. 2 different airplanes packed with people forced to land for mid-air scares.
And today is the day President-elect Donald Trump making his big announcement on who will be our next Secretary of State. We are live in Washington with the most anticipated cabinet pick yet.
Set up, baby, just slip a sable under the tree for me.
A bunch of angels. Fox and Friends First starts right now.
Expected just hours before the next stop on his thank you tour. Rich Edson live for us in Washington, D.C. with Mr. Trump's most anticipated pick yet. Good morning, Rich.
Hey, good morning, Heather and Clayton. And after considering high-profile candidates like Mitt Romney and Rudy Giuliani, Donald Trump will announce later this morning Exxon CEO Rex Tillerson as his choice Secretary of State. His supporters tout Tillerson's management resume, leading a business employing tens of thousands of workers, earning tens of billions of dollars. He's also established valuable business arrangements around the world. Concerning for some, though, his business and personal ties to Russia and its president, Vladimir Putin. Russia awarded Tillerson its Order of Friendship in 2013. In a tweet, Senator Marco Rubio writes, quote, "Being a friend of Vladimir is not an attribute I am hoping for from a Secretary of State." This as Trump continues meeting with cabinet candidates, even former Hewlett-Packard CEO and primary challenger Carly Fiorina. She, like the rest of the Republican field, had at times an antagonistic relationship with Trump. That has changed as Trump's now considering her for Director of National Intelligence. Trump also met with West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, a possible choice for Energy Secretary, as is former Texas Governor Rick Perry. Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rodgers for Interior Secretary, also among the meetings yesterday. And Goldman Sachs executive Gary Cohn has accepted the job to head the National Economic Council. A transition source also tells Fox News Trump is delaying until January an announcement regarding severing his ties with his businesses. Trump tweeted, quote, "I will hold a press conference in the near future to discuss the business, cabinet picks, and all other topics of interest." Busy times. It has been 138 days since Trump's last press conference. He holds another victory rally tonight in West Allis, Wisconsin. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Rich. And signed, sealed, and delivered. Wisconsin's recount results are in, and President-elect Trump won even more big league than we thought. The $1 million push, spearheaded by Green Party candidate Jill Stein, totally backfiring. Mr. Trump slamming the challenge in a tweet last night, saying the final Wisconsin vote is in, and guess what? We just picked up an additional 131 votes. The Dems and the Green Party can now rest. Scam, end quote. And if that's not enough to sting Stein, a Pennsylvania judge just rejected her recount request in that battleground state.
Well, Democrats, meantime, are joining forces in an all-out bid to smear Mr. Trump's victory. The White House now claiming that the president-elect begged Vladimir Putin to hack the election. Kelly Wright is here with how Russia is responding this morning. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, Heather. White House spokesperson Josh Earnest claims Mr. Trump called on Russia to hack his opponent, Hillary Clinton. Some Democrats are concerned Russia may have influenced the election in favor of Trump by hacking Hillary Clinton's emails. And now Clinton's campaign backs Electoral College members, demanding an intelligence briefing on the matter before they vote. Clinton's campaign manager John Podesta stating, "We now know that the CIA has determined Russia's interference in our elections was for the purpose of electing Donald Trump. This should distress every American," he says. "Never before in the history of our republic have we seen such an effort to undermine the bedrock of our democracy." Now, Clinton's actions go against what she said during a debate in October when Trump said the election was rigged and he would possibly challenge the outcome. Listen.
We've accepted the outcomes when we may not have liked them. He is denigrating, he's talking down our democracy. And I, for one, am appalled that somebody who is the nominee of one of our two major parties would take that kind of position.
And even some Republican lawmakers are concerned about Russian hacking. However, they join Democrats in calling for an investigation.
Obviously, any foreign breach of our cybersecurity measures is disturbing, and I strongly condemn any such efforts.
Despite bipartisan concerns over Russia, Mr. Trump's team says the Democrats just can't accept they lost.
They simply cannot accept the fact that they had a flawed candidate.
Russia's foreign ministry says new allegations about Moscow influencing the election are part of a turf war between U.S. security agencies. Clayton and Heather.
All right, Kelly Wright live for us this morning. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you, Kelly.
Well, calls for Russia to be punished if they interfere with our election coming from both sides of the aisle this morning.
But Republican Representative Adam Kinzinger from Illinois says that it won't change the election results because Mr. Trump won by a big majority.
So here's the concern. We want to find out if they did hack. And if they did hack, there needs to be repercussions against them. What I find is interesting in the montage leading up to this is all these folks on the left that are now somehow aghast by, and talking about how terrible Russia is and how Russia's not our friend are the same people that had this Russian reset under President Obama that gave Syria to Russia, that gave Eastern Europe and Ukraine and Georgia to Russia. You look at this and say, wow, we hit an alternate universe. So I think we need to know if there was hacking. I think there needs to be big, I guess, punishments against the Russians if in fact they did. But that doesn't undermine the legitimacy of the fact that Donald Trump was elected president.
Now to a Fox News alert, a mid-air emergency when a packed airplane packed with people starts losing pressure overnight. The American Airlines flight from Charlotte to San Francisco forced to land in Phoenix over a pressure problem with the plane's reservoir. That's the area that moves fluid throughout the airplane. The plane was towed to the gate to be checked out. No word if or when it'll be able to take off again.
Well, another terrifying scare on board the world's largest passenger plane. Police giving the all clear after a transatlantic flight packed with more than 500 people was diverted to and forced to land for a phoned-in bomb threat. The Lufthansa pilot immediately landing the Houston to Germany flight at JFK in New York City. Nothing suspicious was found on board.
The man accused of shooting 2 Georgia police officers arrested overnight after an hours-long manhunt. Police say Kerry Gordon opened fire on officers who pulled him over in a stolen car near the South Carolina border. Both officers will be okay. Gordon was out on bond for an attempted murder charge. 6 Georgia police officers have been shot in the past 6 days, 2 in a drug raid early Monday morning, and 2 others killed responding to a call outside of Atlanta.
Well, former Pennsylvania Democratic Congressman Chaka Fattah will spend the next decade behind bars. The 60-year-old sentenced to 10 years for federal corruption charges, including bribery and fraud. Prosecutors say that he rerouted federal grant money and nonprofit funds to repay an illegal $1 million campaign loan. He is set to turn himself in January 25th. And a woman now under arrest accused of stealing hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars in a major welfare scheme. Officials in Pittsburgh say that 23-year-old Sabrina Struthers collected nearly $130,000 in benefits for 3 children that don't even exist. Struthers allegedly used other people's social security numbers. One of them, a person born in 1887, which would make the fake child 129 years old.
Well, the NFL could soon begin paying players with brain injuries caused by repeated concussions. The Supreme Court rejecting challenges to the estimated $1 billion settlement between the NFL and thousands of former players. The settlement covers more than 20,000 NFL retirees for the next 65 years. The average payout expected to be at $190,000.
Well, the time now is 8 minutes after the top of the hour, and a major warning for online shoppers. Just 2 weeks before Christmas, hackers could have all of your information. The retailer now going into crisis mode.
And it's a big one. And called out, Tucker Carlson taking on a professor over an anti-Trump email.
I know what a weaselly inference is, and you say he's, quote, the embodiment of white power. You're calling him a bigot. Don't pretend, just say it out loud. Be a man about it.
The heated interaction you don't want to miss.
That was really something last night. And calling it quits, the stars of HGTV's Flip or Flop, flip-flopping on their marriage vows.
Somewhere on a beach, sipping something strong.
first thing in the morning. Would love to be on a beach somewhere, but there are the lights of New York City, and that's great as well. Thank you so much for watching Fox and Friends First. Well, our very own Tucker Carlson taking on a math professor. Did you hear about this? Furious over President-elect Trump's win. Tony Makula sent an email to 600 employees at SUNY Geneseo College in New York, asking them to defend why they voted for the man that he says embodies the, quote, white power movement. Carlson grilling Makula over his message.
I never called anyone a racist. I didn't make any assertions. No, I didn't make. Don't you know the difference between an assertion and a question?
No, I know what a weaselly inference is, and if you say the guy's responsible for the ugly views of people who support him, even though he's never articulated that views, you're inferring that he believes them. You say he's, quote, the embodiment of white power. You're calling him a bigot. Don't pretend, just say it out loud. Be a man about it.
Wow. Well, the professor, meantime, says that he has received several letters asking him to stop whining and get over the fact that Mr. Trump won.
Well, the Chinese media blasting our president-elect, calling Mr. Trump ignorant as a child following his unconventional phone call with Taiwan last week. But instead of defending the incoming commander-in-chief, the White House is rushing to apologize to China.
The United States government, under the leadership of President Obama, has been and remains firmly committed to our one China policy. The Obama administration does not view Taiwan and our relationship with Taiwan as a bargaining chip.
On Fox News Sunday, Mr. Trump said that he doesn't feel bound by the one China policy.
Well, President Obama refusing to put the word Christmas on the First Family's Christmas card for the 8th year in a row. And it's a stark contrast to what President-elect Trump has in mind for when he takes office.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. We're going to start saying Merry Christmas again.
This year's card features a picture of the Obamas from the state dinner back in March, and it simply reads Happy Holidays. The president's decision to keep things PC yet again sparking some serious outrage.
And a cross on top of one town's Christmas tree is no more. Officials in Knightstown, Indiana, taking it down after one complaint, just one complaint, sparked a lawsuit by the ACLU. A man claimed that the cross violated the First Amendment and caused him, quote, irreparable harm every time he had to look at it. The town council says they could not win the court case. Outraged residents now handing out wooden crosses all over town and placing them in the hands of its residents. Unbelievable.
Well, now to a Fox Business alert for you. Online holiday shoppers targeted in a brand new scam, so people need to know if they're one of them.
Yeah, this is a big one. Cheryl Casoni from our sister network, Fox Business, here with what you need to know. And just a small website that not a lot of people use, right, Cheryl?
Yeah, it's just Amazon. You probably never even heard of it, guys.
Yeah.
Good morning. Yeah, thousands of emails have actually been sent out by scammers to Amazon customers trying to get them to log on to a fake site. Here's how they do it. The email that you're going to get, it's going to say that there's a problem with your order. You go to what is a fake site that looks very real, but they ask you to put in things like bank account details and other information just to get into your account. Well, it is a scam, but here are some ideas of how you can protect that account. You want to log in directly to the website. Don't go through the email, especially if there's spelling mistakes on it. And you, of course, want to check the return address on the email. A lot of times it doesn't even say Amazon in it, but most of us now just hit reply and don't look at that email. So that's kind of a problem.
Yeah, it's a good point. And then you look at that Amazon in the URL, the address bar, and if it's got like 2 A's, it's like Amazon.
Yeah.
Don't click on that email.
Yeah, you can kind of float over it, right? And then see,
you can see
float over it. That's very, that's very true, Heather. That's a perfect idea as well.
You know, listen to me. All right, so Yankee candles. This actually happened to me. It cracked, one of them, but I think it's because I dropped it, not for this reason.
It's probably
Of course you did. But you know what? There's actually a big recall going on in all seriousness about the Yankee candles. And these are great. These are very popular candles, especially around the holidays, but 31,000 candles are actually being recalled because when you light the candle, there is a chance that the glass will break. Don't even have to drop it, and that is a laceration risk. And actually, this came out from the Consumer Product Safety Commission. Laceration risk means you can cut yourself on the glass. You don't want that. There's 6 versions. There's the sea salt version, the blueberry, the apple, the sugar cane, the pine, and the cinnamon. They've got more names attached to them. Go to the website. You can see more information.
Cinnamon.
Yeah.
The cinnamon candles.
All right, what about American Express expanding some benefits for parents? What's this about?
Yeah, this is actually a lot of companies now are really trying to give more paid parental leave, and that just isn't to mothers, that's to fathers as well. And American Express is the latest company to change their policy. So now it's going to be, for women and men, 20 weeks of paid leave. If you've been at the company at least a year, whether you're full or part-time, you actually get these benefits. And they also give an additional 6 to 8 weeks on top of the 20 for women that give birth to the child. Now, a lot of companies, as I said, are doing this. American Express is doing it, but IKEA, for instance, they just announced that they're going to be expanding 6 to 8 weeks with full pay for parents as well, parental leave, and as you can see, AXA also is on that list. So it's definitely a move companies are doing. Is it good PR? Is it good for business? I think it's a little combination of both.
And goodwill. All right,
Yeah.
thanks, Cheryl.
You bet.
Thank you.
Well, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah, Victoria's Secret angels. They are shining in a new must-see Christmas ad. Look.
Santa baby, just slip a sable under the tree for me. Been an awful good girl, Santa baby, so hurry.
Are you awake? All of the angels rocking white and metallic silver lingerie with, I think those are feathers.
Yeah, I frequently wear heels and glitter to bed.
Do you wear feathers to bed?
I do, frequently. Well, they all opened up these presents under the tree to this hit song, of course, Santa Baby, while they shimmy around in a giant winter wonderland.
And I just got word we're going to be showing that video a couple more times this morning. Thank you.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. It's 18 minutes now after the hour, and runway ruckus. A woman dragged off a plane like a rag doll. What she did moments before this that led to this moment.
And have you seen the pans that the show, or it shows burned food sliding right off?
Yeah, cheese won't stick.
Tired of food sticking to the pan? You try to scrape it and then you scratch it. You may as well trash it. Not anymore.
Yeah, that's me, kind of trying to scrape it off. Well, we are putting the Gotham steel pans to the test in our As Seen on TV series. Up next.
And super strong titanium. Stronger than ever before. It's literally like cooking on air. Everything slides right off. This pan makes cooking.
It's like cooking on air. But do the Gotham steel pans really work?
Here to help us put it to the test, lifestyle expert Chris Drew. Thank you so much for coming in and bringing this good smelling food with
I just came to cook you guys breakfast.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with this.
Cheese.
I got to be honest with you, you're not doing a great job.
Well, I'm
because
burning
you're
things.
burning cheese right now.
Yeah.
But that's the point.
That's the whole point. So what we have here are two different pans. We've got the Gotham steel pan, which I'm sure you guys have seen everywhere. And
What's
then
special about these, by the way? So they've got. He said it's like, space age technology.
It is. It's titanium and ceramic. And so what it's supposed to do is you're supposed to be able to burn everything. Because I know we've all got this pan at home that we can't clean. So we've actually started off with some cheese, as you can see.
So this
on this pan
this is a
here.
normal pan.
A normal pan costs $40. The Gotham pan costs $19.99. I think they even run a special where you can buy one, get one
So
free.
is it the coating that's inside the pan that makes a difference?
The coating that's inside makes a difference. It's the mixture of the ceramic and the titanium that makes a difference. It's also, you're supposed to be able to beat things with a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
So I'm going to slide
You're going to take that?
the cheese. You see it just slides right off.
Okay.
I'm going to attempt, I don't want to burn you this morning.
That's
I feel
all
like
right.
that could be bad. Slides right off.
Looks good.
Okay.
And then we've got
That's for you, Heather.
Yeah.
we've got the
Little breakfast.
The normal pan, as you can see, it's stuck.
Wow. All right.
Oh,
on
yeah,
there.
it is.
So I'm going to move this one off to the side. We're going to test a few things today.
Okay.
I'm going to take that
Can I
cheese.
burn some stuff?
I'm going to take that
Take the
cheese.
cheese
We
from
are going to
me.
burn things. I brought hard
Is that
candy.
burner on? Because that's paper.
That burner is not
Okay,
on.
just wanna make
Thanks
sure.
for looking out, though. I appreciate it this morning. I have had a little bit of coffee.
I got my safety merit badge in the Boy
Turn
Scouts.
these up. I'm going to take this.
Okay, so
There, I'm
You want me
gonna
to take
ask you
this one off?
I'm actually going to have Heather put some candy on
In
this
this
one.
one? Okay.
They do all
but not
kinds
in the
of-
plastic wrapping.
Not in
This
in this one here.
Okay.
And then I'm going to have you hold that. I'm going to
Okay.
throw some marshmallows in this one. So in the infomercial, I think, this pan can do everything except for your dishes at this point.
Okay, all the candy's in here.
All the candy's in
Okay.
there. So we're going to let those melt. This
Okay.
might take a little bit longer, so I'm going to throw some of these in the hot pan.
Okay.
So we're going to let those melt down, but they melt everything from plastic. They hit it with a sledgehammer. I left my sledgehammer at home this morning, so we can't do that. But as you can see, I think it's a great pan. It definitely worked with the cheese. Anything I can do to prevent
and it is really
this from
warm.
happening.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, so marshmallows burn very quickly.
Marshmallows burn very quickly.
And I'm going to make a little peppermint
as you can
marshmallow
see, though,
mix here.
With the peppermints, even though they're melting, they're still sliding around.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And it's the marshmallows too.
All right, so Gotham's, all right.
Dishwasher safe. You
Dishwasher.
can throw it into the oven, which I love about a pan. Just don't grab it
by the handle.
I want everyone to be safe this morning.
You could do a little searing. Okay, so your verdict on this?
My verdict on this is it's a great deal. As you can see, again, the $40 pan we're not having so much luck with this morning, and the Gotham
So it's
pan,
less money and it works better.
less money,
Okay.
works better.
Thank you, Chris. Awesome stuff. And thank you for this delicious breakfast. Appreciate
Sure
it.
smells good anyway.
And don't miss out tomorrow when we clean up this mess with the Dutch Glow Cleaning Tonic.
Nice.
Thank you, Chris.
Well, the time now is about 26 minutes after the top of the hour, and hoarding illegals, nearly 11 million illegals in the country, and one man thinks that's not enough.
The business owner accused of sneaking in undocumented immigrants and putting them to work for years.
It is Tuesday, December 13th, and today is the day President-elect Donald Trump makes his big announcement on who will be our next Secretary of State. Here's a hint, it's not him.
Right.
We're live in Washington, maybe him, with the most anticipated cabinet pick yet.
And lying through his teeth, how a fake dentist accused of pulling pearly whites right from his living room chair was finally caught.
And a message from first responders to the people they protect.
I will run into a burning building to save your life.
Though I do not know your name, I will take a bullet for you.
What they want every American to know this holiday season. Fox and Friends First continues right now.
Oh, it still smells like cheese in here.
It does. Smells really good.
Good morning, everyone. You're watching Fox and Friends First. I'm Clayton Morris.
And I'm Heather Childers. Half past the top of the hour. Thank you for sticking around or just joining us. President-elect Trump will make it official this morning, we're told, nominating ExxonMobil CEO Rex Tillerson to be his Secretary of State.
The announcement expected just hours before the next stop on his big thank you tour. Rich Edson live in Washington, D.C. with Mr. Trump's most anticipated pick yet. Good morning, Rich.
And good morning, Clayton and Heather. And President-elect Donald Trump has chosen business experience over government service, selecting the chief executive officer of the largest publicly traded multinational oil and gas company, Exxon CEO Rex Tillerson, to be his Secretary of State. His supporters point to Tillerson's successful management of an international corporation. Others say they are concerned about his business and personal ties to Russia and its President Vladimir Putin. Russia awarded Tillerson its Order of Friendship in 2013. In a tweet, Senator Marco Rubio writes, quote, "Being a friend of Vladimir is not an attribute I am hoping for from a Secretary of State." Once in the running for the position, former Trump opponent Mitt Romney wrote on Facebook, quote, "It was an honor to have been considered for Secretary of State of our great country. My discussions with President-elect Trump have been both enjoyable and enlightening. I have very high hopes that the new administration will lead the nation to greater strength, prosperity, and peace." Trump continued meeting candidates to fill his administration. He spoke with former Hewlett-Packard CEO and primary challenger Carly Fiorina as a possible director of national intelligence. Trump also met with West Virginia Democratic Senator Joe Manchin and former Texas Governor Rick Perry as possible choices for Energy Secretary. Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rodgers for Interior, and Goldman Sachs executive Gary Cohn has accepted the job to lead the National Economic Security Council, an economic council. A transition source tells Fox News Trump is delaying until January a press conference to announce severing ties with his businesses. Trump last held a press conference in July. He holds another victory rally tonight in Wisconsin. Clayton and Heather, back to you.
All right, let's see. Maybe Rex will show up on stage.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Rich. All right, let's keep talking about Mr. Trump's choice. What do you think of ExxonMobil CEO Rex Tillerson as Secretary of State? Do you know anything about him to have an opinion on it? Joining a live debate on our Facebook page right now, or right after the show, use that hashtag #KeepTalking.
I bet our viewers will definitely have an opinion one way or the other. Well, Democrats are joining forces in an all-out bid, some say, to smear Mr. Trump's victory. The White House now claiming that the president-elect begged Vladimir Putin to hack the election.
But remember when Hillary Clinton said this about Trump questioning those results?
We've accepted the outcomes when we may not have liked them. He is denigrating. He's talking down our democracy.
Kelly Wright is here with how Russia is responding this morning. Good morning, Kelly.
Clayton, good morning to you as well. The White House and leading Democrats claim Russia influenced the election by hacking Hillary Clinton's emails.
You didn't need a security clearance to figure out who benefited from malicious Russian cyber activity. The president-elect didn't call it into question. He called on Russia to hack his opponent. He called on Russia to hack Secretary Clinton.
Electoral College members are demanding an intelligence briefing on the matter before they vote. Clinton's campaign manager supports their demand, stating this: "We now know that the CIA has determined Russia's interference in our elections was for the purpose of electing Donald Trump. This should distress every American. Never before in the history of our republic have we seen such an effort to undermine the bedrock of our democracy." Democrat and Republican lawmakers are calling for an investigation.
The Russians are not our friends. They invaded Crimea. Senator McCain and I and some of our Democratic friends met with a delegation from the Baltic countries just this past week. To say that they're nervous about the Russians, to put it mildly, I think we ought to approach all of these issues on the assumption that the Russians do not wish us well.
Despite bipartisan concerns over Russia, Mr. Trump's team says the Democrats just can't accept they lost. And Russia's foreign ministry says new allegations about Moscow influencing the election are part of a turf war between U.S. security agencies. Heather and Clayton, very delicate matter. It's becoming more political.
All right, thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich slamming the left for trying to delegitimize the election results.
He says that the Russians did not win the industrial Midwest. President-elect Donald Trump did.
I don't believe that the Russians carried Pennsylvania. I think Donald Trump did. I don't think that the Russians carried Wisconsin. Donald Trump did. I don't think that the Russians carried Michigan. Donald Trump did. The problem the left has is they cannot come to grips with the reality that the American people are turning against them, that the American people have defeated them, and frankly, if the election were held today, the margin would be even bigger because people have now begun to realize that Donald Trump is not in any way the kind of things that the New York Times and the Washington Post said he was.
And to a Fox News alert for you now. Pure chaos as two different planes packed with passengers are forced to make emergency landings overnight. A terrifying scare on a San Francisco-bound flight when it started losing pressure midair. While the American Airlines plane, which left from Charlotte, diverted to Phoenix, where crews checked the plane and police giving the all clear to a Lufthansa flight meantime. After a phoned-in bomb threat, the pilot immediately landing the plane bound for Germany at JFK in New York City. The jet, the world's largest passenger plane, was carrying more than 500 people.
And quite the scene on a Delta flight as a woman, take a look at this, is arrested, dragged down the aisle right off the plane like a rag doll after skipping the check-in process. You kind of need to do that to get on an airplane. The shocking moment caught on camera as police officers pulled her down the aisle by her wrists and ankles. The flight on its way from San Diego to Detroit. One passenger reporting that the woman was tased after storming past gate agents onto the plane while ranting about space and overhead bins. She wanted to make sure she got those overhead bins.
Well, now to some extreme weather. The monster winter storm that blasted millions with snow and freezing rain might just be the tip of the iceberg.
Parts of the country now bracing for Arctic temperatures with paralyzing wind chills as low as negative 20 degrees.
Fire truck has been stuck in the snow.
Wow.
Snow-covered roadways turning deadly, trapping this fire truck. Look at that there. This is in Ohio. And then shutting down I-75 in Michigan.
Nearly 1,200 flights are starting to resume at O'Hare International Airport in Chicago.
It is a mess out there, so let's get right to Janice Dean, who's tracking the possibility, Janice, really, of even more snow and ice, and you're live in the Weather Center for us.
You know what? It keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Let's take take a look at it. Quieter today across the Northeast and the Midwest. We do have a weak system that's going to move in tonight and into tomorrow, but it's not going to be a real big weather maker. It's going to bring a little bit of a wintry mix across the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, but it's out of here by tomorrow afternoon. Our next big system is pushing into the west with a ton of snow and inches of rainfall. So this is going to be an ongoing situation, and some of this energy is going to make its way across the rest of the country. But the big takeaway here, the big hashtag, is going to be extreme cold. We could set some overnight low records as we head into Thursday and Friday. So you see that the blues on your screen, that's, you know, the freezing mark. The pinks are 0. So, and that's affecting millions of people, including us here in the Northeast. So we're talking about temperatures in the single digits and the teens and wind chills well below 0. So that's going to be potentially dangerous for much of the country. So we've seen the cold before, we've felt it before, but this cold is actually coming all the way from Siberia. So it has a beeline towards us. And again, we could set the potential for record lows Thursday and Friday. So you have been warned. Make sure that you are bundled up Thursday and Friday. I will continue to keep reminding you the coldest air really of the season, maybe the coldest air we've felt in years, is on its way. Back to you, Heather and Clayton.
Yeah, so Russians interfered in our elections, and now they're interfering in our weather.
I just do fair and balanced weather.
Siberia.
Yeah,
Thanks,
just say
Janice.
cold from Siberia. That's all we need to know.
Is it
you
ever
got
warm
it.
there?
The big hat. Wear the big hat this week.
All right, good
Thanks,
idea.
Janice. All right, 40 minutes now past the hour. First Boeing, and now Mr. Trump is taking aim at another airplane company. His message on that is next.
And trying to eat healthy in the new year? Well, don't eat lean cuisine. The lawsuits that the company is now facing.
And also, remember when Ambassador Bolton hopped on a Fitboard yesterday on Fox and Friends?
I didn't see that.
Don't miss Carly Shimkus with that moment and everything else going viral.
Oh, he didn't fall, did he?
I believe I can fly.
Well, first it was Boeing, and now Lockheed Martin. President-elect Donald Trump calling out the company yesterday, slamming the high cost of their fighter jet program.
Cheryl Casoni from our sister network, Fox Business, here now with those details. Good morning again, Cheryl.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, the president-elect not only taking a public swipe on Twitter at the Pentagon and the F-35 program, he took a bite out of the stock yesterday as well. So after telling Fox News' Chris Wallace on Sunday that the F-35 was out of control, he tweeted this yesterday before the market opened. He said the F-35 program and cost is out of control. Billions of dollars can and will be saved on military and other purchases after January 20th. That led to a fall in Lockheed Martin stock on Monday, with shares down 2.5% for the day. Other defense names fell, including Northrop Grumman and Raytheon. In response, Lockheed says they've invested hundreds of millions to get the overall cost of the program down. But according to Fox News' own research, the program still looks pretty bloated. Look at this. And we posted this on Twitter, by the way. The F-35 program is a $400 billion program. It has doubled in cost since 2001. It is currently 4 years behind schedule, with the United States due to buy 2,400 or more F-35 jets. But it's not just President-elect Trump. Even Senator John McCain back in April called the F-35 program a scandal and a tragedy. And it's not just Lockheed Martin, the company in focus for this part. Mark Thiessen took another swipe at Boeing last night. Listen.
Boeing planes will not simply be ferrying commercial passengers and cargo. They're going to be ferrying Iranian troops, Iranian weapons, Iranian terrorists, paramilitary operatives around the world to destabilize the Middle East and undermine U.S. interests and kill innocent people.
So those are the aircraft that Boeing is making being sold to Iran. You've got Lockheed Martin, the F-35 controversy. A lot of this, well, it's controversy, but it's hurting the stocks, we should say. Back to you.
Yeah, it drops 4 points with a tweet.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's all it takes now.
Yeah.
You know, the new potential Secretary of State didn't close the door on doing business with Iran either. So
yeah, James
Mattis. Still out there.
Yeah.
Well, meanwhile, beware before you pack your lunch. Lean cuisine may not be as healthy as you think. Did people think it was healthy? Parent company Nestle hit with a class action lawsuit accused of deceiving customers about what's in their food. A New York woman leading the charge after buying a 4-cheese pizza labeled preservative-free, but it was made with citric acid. Other companies like Jimmy Dean recognized that as a preservative. Several other meals are also named in the lawsuit, including Asian-style pot stickers, shrimp Alfredo, and mushroom ravioli.
How about some chocolate? You don't have to empty your wallet for the finer things in life. Chocolate is so cheap now, you got to binge. You have to. The price of cocoa hitting a 3-year low. And the best part, experts say that the lower the prices are, they're here to stay, actually. That's good news.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It's good for our waistlines. Time now to check in with what's coming up on Fox and Friends this morning.
Yeah, Pete Hegseth, who is cooking up something good, I'm sure, at Johnny V's restaurant in West Allis, Wisconsin. Good morning.
Good morning. That's right. We are in West Allis. The locals call it Stallis, though, and it is the home of the Wisconsin State Fair. As you know, Wisconsin, a critical part of this election. A recount just ended. Donald Trump actually gaining votes. Donald Trump will be here tonight in West Allis for a big rally. But we're going to be in Johnny V's all morning eating great food. They've got a pancake challenge you're going to have to hear about. And we're going to be asking locals here, how's Donald Trump done so far? How that big pick of Secretary of State, what's that going to mean? Do they like it? Do they not? And we're going to drink coffee and enjoy some time with some great Wisconsin folks.
Yeah.
I love the sounds of that.
Yeah.
We'll check you out, Pete, in about 12 minutes coming up on Fox and Friends. Thanks, Pete.
Love pancakes.
We'll be here.
We'll be right back.